Hi, I'm Steve Clemons. I direct the American Strategy Program here at the New America Foundation and write the blog, The Washington Note. And I'm here with my very good friend, Mustafa Barghouti, who was a candidate in 2005 for President of Palestine. And I think most certainly, I hope he'll be a candidate again when we have the opportunity of elections. Mustafa, it's great to have you in Washington.
Thank you. Thank you.
We've just had an election, this sort of nail-biter election in Israel. This is coming, of course, in the wake of the Israeli exchange and incursion into Gaza. Things look crazy. Tell us what you think both about the election and what you think about the prospects now are from what you've just seen in Israel to move forward in the peace process.
Well, I honestly feel sad and sorry for Israel for these results of elections. First of all, what you have seen, as one commentator has noticed, that 80% of the seats in the Israeli Knesset parliament has gone to the right-wing people, because Livni and Netanyahu both represent the same camp. Basically, it's the Kadima Likud camp. They all originate from Likud. They all originate from the extreme nationalist point of view. And then on top of that, we had Lieberman, who is nothing but a new fascist, gaining more than 15 seats. And most shockingly, he rated like on top, the highest among school students.
Avigdor Lieberman was the highest among school students.
And
he advocates, as I understand it, a deal with a territorial deal, but disaggregation ethnically to move Arabs out of Israel. Is that
basically, he advocates two things: ethnic cleansing, and he advocates the fact that Arabs in Israel have to accept the oppressive system and the apartheid system and be loyal to it, and if they don't, they have to lose their citizenship. So these are very dangerous movements and things in Israel, which are happening exactly at a very critical moment, where we are just about to lose the last opportunity of having two-state solution. That is the risk.
Now, on the Palestinian side, though, you've got divisions between Fatah and Hamas. Hamas, I think, admittedly, also is in a bit of a rejectionist camp, and it looks like you've got such great instability on the Palestinian side. You've got such great instability, potentially, at least fragility, on the Israeli side. What prospects do you think are really moving forward? How would you advise moving forward?
After what I've been talking to people here in the new administration, and we have had great hopes with the election of Obama. Every value he has been advocating is violated in the Middle East, and especially in Israel. And I think there is a great potential here, but after these elections, I think the American administration has to be clear on three issues. First of all, they have to take immediately very firm stand against the continuation of settlement activities, because at least that should be stopped. If settlements continue, then there will be no peace process, and there will be no settlement, and there will be no two-state solution. Second, they have, in my opinion, to take a strong stand to prevent the evolution or the establishment or the consolidation of apartheid system, which is unfair, unacceptable, and in contradiction of basic values. And third, I believe they should support the right of Palestinians to democracy also. And I think supporting the right of Palestinians to democracy goes hand in hand with encouraging the line we are advocating of non-violence, because if people see perspectives, they could understand that violent way is not the way to go. But they have to see these perspectives. So I hope these are the three issues. We're going to have hard time coming on because of this situation in Israel. But I think this situation has evolved in Israel mainly because the Israeli public thought that the whole international community was complicit with their policies, have been silent about the war in Gaza, have been silent about the deterioration of the potential for peace. And that's why it's time to intervene to stop total deterioration.
You're the leading advocate of nonviolent civil disobedience if Israel doesn't move off the course of occupation. Is your movement gaining ground?
Absolutely. It's gaining ground, and mainly among young people and also among women. These are the two sectors of society that are giving us a lot of support at this time. And there is a very encouraging, very new phenomena which is appearing now, that is a shift in the Palestinian diaspora. For a while, the Palestinian diaspora was shifting away from Fatah towards Hamas. I think today we see a serious shift also towards our non-violent approach and towards the Palestinian National Initiative, a movement I represent. and towards supporting our approach. I think they realize how effective we've been in lobbying the international community. And I say it frankly, if it is our destiny to be suffering from apartheid, we have no other way but to struggle against this apartheid, but in a non-violent way. And the example we're following is the same example that Gandhi did, the same example that Martin Luther King had, and the same approach that Nelson Mandela had. And as Gandhi said once, he said, first they will ignore you, then they will ridicule you, then they will oppress you, and finally you will win. And I believe in the goodness of human beings at the end of the day. And I believe that the non-violent approach we're taking and the struggle against apartheid we're taking is at the end of the day for the sake of both people, not just Palestinians, but also Israelis.
Let me ask you one last question. A few days ago, I had a small break with some of my very good friends, Americans who've been very involved with promoting negotiations between Israel and Palestine in the peace process. Some of them are in the Obama administration. They're very earnest, they're very well-meaning. They would like to see the moderates win. They'd like to see Mahmoud Abbas be showered with opportunity and to look good compared to Hamas in the eyes of Palestinians. I sort of think that's too much too late, that there are much deeper problems, and I suppose I align myself with Zbigniew Brzezinski in this, who thinks that the conditions on the Palestinian side and the conditions on the Israeli side make it completely unable for these two parties to come to terms. And we should stop expecting that.
Yes.
What we need, frankly, are the stakeholders in Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, the United States, Europe, the UN, Russia, to finally come together with a very heavy involvement, I think, of the United States, and help to do what Israel and Palestine can't do, and to stop pretending that they can, in fact, negotiate a stable equilibrium between them. Am I off base in my commentary?
You're absolutely correct. And let me say that the last war on Gaza was, in my opinion, a war that was orchestrated as part of 4 steps that the Israeli government, jointly with the previous American administration, Bush administration, did to preempt Barack Obama and the new policy in the United States. The first was the Resolution 1850 at the UN Security Council, which was trying to limit any new initiative regarding peace process and limit it to Annapolis process, which has been a total failure. The main goal they had, the Israelis then, is that nobody should interfere and it should only be between Israelis and Palestinians. Obviously, this is not going to lead us anywhere. Second, it was the war in Gaza. Third, it was the intensification of tension to prevent peaceful dialogue, I guess, between the United States, Syria, and Iran. And finally, that agreement that was concluded between Livni and Rice, which is really crazy because it's about the whole international community coming in to protect the occupiers so that occupation could continue. This all makes no sense. It is time for the international community to interfere. It is time for the international community to interfere intensively, especially after the last results of the Israeli elections. Now I want also to say something. Today the credibility of President Abbas is very low because of his standings during the war on Gaza. For the first time, Hamas is ahead of them in terms of support to the government, in terms of popularity, and ahead of Fayyad government. And that should ring a bell. It should raise the question of, is this the right way to go? And if at the end of the day Israel has achieved what it wanted, which is to say there is no Palestinian partner that can speak on behalf of all Palestinians, well, we should create that partner. And that partner would be a result of democratic choice of Palestinians. And a partner that, in my opinion, should be a national unity government, a transitional national unity government that works for peace. I was so impressed with the inauguration of President Obama, if I may say so. And the sentence that moved me most was the sentence that Dianne Feinstein said when she was introducing him. She said, the root of democracy is the right of people to freely choose their leaders. And I think we, the Palestinians, are entitled to that. Israel cannot choose for us our leaders. And Israel cannot decide for us who should negotiate on our behalf. We should decide. And then we will have a productive and truthful, I hope, peaceful process.
Dr. Barghouti, it's always a pleasure. Come back And
Thank
I'm
you.
so happy to see you writing on the Huffington Post, the Washington Note, the Nation.
I'll keep trying.
Yeah, we'll keep listening.
Thank
Thanks
you for
so
your
much.
help. Thank you, Steve.